If you haven't heard the Sports Coma, this is what you're missing. Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? What's going on? It's Big Q chiming with you from the Sports Coma. And it's in our customary fashion on our podcast, we always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sports talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and this is Sports Coma Live, man. We finally got it going. We had a lot of computer issues that we were dealing with to try to fire the podcast up. But you know what, man? You know, it's going into our 5th season, and I just really feel really happy, man, that we were able to finally get to this point. And before I even get into any Saints talk, I like to thank all, man. I mean, every last one of y'all. I mean, especially all of you great Saints people out there that have been supporting the podcast for a while. All the love that you guys been giving. I mean, Sean, man, what's happening, baby? I mean, all of the terrific people, man, that's just been showing love. And I just got to say, man, I've been a Saints fan for a long time, man. And I'm going to be honest with you, bro. We've been following this team for I don't know how many years, man. All I know is black and gold, baby. You cut me, I bleed black and gold, baby. I bleed it. But I know it's a lot of that's out there, man. I'd like to thank all you people for joining us today. What's going on, Young Till? I see you, baby. Much love to you, bro. Tony Fournier, bro. Who that to you? My friend Jason King, what's happening? Fade Sway. What's up, baby? Welcome to the podcast, man. I just like to say thank you all my family from the bottom of my heart, from my black and gold heart, baby, that we finally made it to this point, man. But of course, this is just the beta, so we're gonna be testing, we're gonna be adding a lot of other stuff. What's up, Robert? Who that to you, baby? All the way in Georgia. I know you surrounded by that black and gold team, man, but don't you worry, man. We're going to be talking a lot of smack to them boys, man. But anyway, thank y'all for joining us, man, an inaugural live show. Of course, y'all know about the podcast, but today's show, man, I want to have a discussion. What up, Sean? Welcome to the show, baby. What's happening? But I want to talk to y'all, man, about some interesting stuff dealing with a few of the really interesting things dealing with the Saints, man. I went through the free agent wire, and I was looking at the roster, man, and I invite y'all to take a look at it. It's ourlads.com. Our lads, that's LADS.com, ourlads.com. Now, they're a really good website because they're good at actually, putting up there. Appreciate you. What's up, Crass 4 in the building. Thank you, baby. Appreciate your gift to us, man. We're going to put it to good use, brother. Good. Welcome aboard. Thank you for joining us. But ourlads.com, peeps, gives us an updated version of the New Orleans Saints depth chart among all the NFL team depth charts. And I was looking, man, and I was looking at some positions that always kind of, arouse my mind when it comes to the Saints organization, man. Like, for instance, that you're going to always need defensive ends, pass rushers, and you're going to always need wide receivers. Now, on the last show, I played Teddy Ginn Jr., who was just totally against the 18-game season. Some of y'all might feel the same way about that 18-game season. Y'all might not want to see, but Teddy again was saying, "Oh, it's gonna be too much wear and tear on it." Teddy sound like he about to retire, fam. He sound like he don't want to take no more millions of dollars, but that's all right. I know a lot of our people say, you know what, they're pushing him aside. Yeah, I get a couple of the millions, bro. You can get a little wear and tear. We'll run up and down the field for you. But I'm looking at the wide receiver room, man, and I'm behind, Can't guard Mike, man. What do we have? Teddy Ginn coming off injury. He's healthy, but can he stand the duration of the test? We're talking about a deep run here, fam. We ain't talking about 8 games, 9 games, 10 games. We're talking about a deep playoff run that ultimately gets us to the Super Bowl. The last 2 disastrous years, we just kind of been snake bitten, so to speak, with the Minnesota Miracle, actually the nightmare, and then of course the debacle in the dome whatever this was this year with the referee and everything. But this got to be the year. You know what I'm saying? This got to be the year. I mean, it's got to be. And I'm looking at the wide receiver, man, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, behind him, who do you have? Who do we have? So in this in today's show, man, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the wide receiver position in the pass rushing, the defensive end position, because they do have actually a few people out there, and we're gonna even touch on the cornerbacks today. And then outside of that, we also gonna talk about what's the Saints' competition in the NFC South. Seriously, do they have any competition? Well, I want to talk about the NFC South competition for the Saints who running close to us in the South, and who do we have to knock out in the NFC to get back to the bowl? That's even bigger question. You know, we know we're gonna have a complicated situation in the South, but what we looking like in the NFC? Let's talk about that today. Who the competition is, and of course the special teams room. We don't usually talk about special teams, not really serious people. We don't really seriously start talking about the special teams until somebody miss a kick, until somebody fumble a ball on a kick return, punt return, until somebody just, until you have a goof in the special team, then they be like, man, what the hell was going on? Who's the special teams coach? That's what happened with McMahon. Remember when McMahon everything was going on? I was like, and I said before it happened, I said, McMahon is not a good special teams coach. I mean, he's going to ultimately end up, this guy's a problem. It didn't really take a head until after McMahon had a few, all that stuff that started happening. Remember the block kick, the field goal, the guy running it all the way to the other end. He actually stepped out, but they didn't see it because he had white shoes on and they couldn't, all that foolishness. Always happened to us. It's okay, but we still always get that. But I want to talk about the new acquisitions, the new special teams room from the coaches down, because they totally kicked out all those other guys and brought in some new people. And I know a few of y'all familiar with, but I want to get into it. I want to talk about the coaches. I want to talk about some of the players, because the Saints are really doing an excellent job of just finding talent, like this kid from Assumption that who just breaking all kind of kick return, punt return games. They signed this guy to a multi-year contract, by the way, fam. It wasn't just like, something else, that was going on. They actually signed this guy to a contract. Plus you have the other man, what's his name, fam? Deontay Harris, which is another special team guy. And of course, Cyril Grayson is another guy. So the Saints really focusing on adding speed and talent. And I think that might be the hand of Dan Rizzi, who's the new special teams coach, who's kind of trying to get that going. So, let's get into it. Also in call-ins, fam, we're going to have some call-ins. I want to talk to y'all, man. I want to hear from y'all in the today's show, man. And momentarily, I'm going to issue out the call number, and then y'all guys can chime in, give your thoughts, questions, concerns, whatever you, and we can get it on today. We can talk about it today on this live pod or live vlogcast or whatever you want to call it. But let's get to it, fam. I like to thank y'all, man. What's up, Jason? Jason says Traquan Smith will step up this year. Want to see what LaJordan Humphreys is about. You know what? I've been hearing a lot of talking about him, Jason. Humphreys, and he's a special talent. He's a guy that he wins those 50-50 balls. He could be a deep threat weapon for us. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've watched film on LaJordan Humphreys. And I, even though I don't see fantastic speed from that guy, but I see the guy it's something special there. You got to find a right coach to kind of pull it out of him, because sometimes necessarily it ain't all about speed. Remember Marcus Colston? Marcus Colston probably was one of the, at first he had a little decent speed, but he wasn't beating nobody deep or nothing. But, he'd get that ball over the top of you. And at time he catching everything. And he knew how to use a stiff arm. He knew how to create space. Marcus Colston was a master at that. He was a 7-round pick. Now this LaJordan Humphreys kid's coming in. He's a lot more athletic. I don't know about handsy as Marcus Colston was. And I'm not trying to compare that man to Marcus Colston, because that's a high billing. But, dude, let me tell you something. Something special about LaJordan Humphreys, man. Something very special. But my thing is, I don't know. I'm looking for more of an established situation, just in case we have a problem. Remember, we ain't just trying to win 10 games like the Browns because we've been sucking for years. We got Super Bowl aspirations, and sometimes you need veterans who've been in deep situations to kind of help you get over the hill, if you know what I mean. Crass, I hear you, baby. Said Carolina looking good this year. I think they may be decent in NFC South competition in 2019. He said Humphrey ain't ready. Practice squad. Y'all guys ready to argue. But anyway, let's get into it, man. let's address the pass rush situation first and foremost. Cam Jordan, obviously, Marcus Davenport, question mark. Davenport, injury problems, right? And I ain't saying one. I'm not saying two. I mean, this guy's had a bevy of injury problems before he got drafted, after he got drafted, before they even got him on the field, during time on the field, into the season, comes back, something happens again. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying the man's injury prone, but I don't know if you can sit there and count on that. That's what I'm saying, man. I don't know if I'm ready to rely on Davenport in a starting role like that. I think you might need somebody, and I don't know, man. I don't know. But behind him, you got guys like, they put Mario Edwards Jr., who I don't know. Mario Edwards Jr., tweener. More interior than exterior. The stats don't lie. He doesn't have a lot of sacks. He's not known to be a pressure guy. He's Mario Edwards Jr. is going to surprise a lot of people, not because he's going to get a lot of sacks. It's because he's a sturdy guy. You know what I mean? He's going to be a guy that he plays the run and the pass really well. He's very athletic. Not athletic. He's not faster than he won't outrun anybody, but he'll outwill anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know if he's the answer. Matter of fact, I know he's not the answer. If Davenport misses time, you're gonna need another rusher on that other side that has a resume and is proven to be a pass rusher. Trey Hendrickson has all of the heart in the world. It's just his body don't want to cooperate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's like, I ain't gonna say he's like Davenport, but you can't really count on him. You know what I'm saying? This is make it a break it year for him as well. So I don't know. I don't know about Trey Hendrickson. And, of course, you got other unproven commodities. I like this big old fella named, what's his name? Carbon Kafusi, 6'9", 6'10". I don't know too many great pass rushers that was that big. I mean, come on, think about it. How many serious pass rushers that were really that big, that really made a difference? It's just as a position. It's not a position, the defensive impact. You might bat a ball down or two, but I've not known to have a guy that's big, that was that effective. I'm not saying Kafusi could turn into something massive. I'm not going to sell him short, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Crass said Muhammad Wilkinson. Crass, you know what? Muhammad Wilkinson can go to hell as far as I'm concerned. We brought Muhammad Wilkinson in here last year and offered them a really good deal. But he and Jimmy Graham chose to go north to Green Bay, didn't they? Then he goes up there, get hurt, and then they cut his ass. So you know what? I feel like another person that commented on the podcast was about, man, I forgot the name. I'm probably going to come to you. But he was talking about, I believe, Cody Sensabaugh when the Saints made an overture toward Cody and he chose another team as opposed to this. That's how I feel about Muhammad Wilkinson, man. Muhammad Wilkinson can go to hell, man, as far as I'm concerned. We offered you one. You could have rolled with the Saints last year. You wanted to go with Green Bay. Makes no sense to me, but that's where he went, and that's why he got his issue like that. You hear me? But back to that. Now, other defensive lineman, Geno Grissom. Come on. Who is Geno Grissom? No disrespect to Geno Grissom, but why should I be enthused about Geno Grissom? I mean, and outside of that, you got Wes Horton, the Carolina guy, which – that say everything? If I say to you, fam, what do you think about Wes Horton? You're gonna be like, no, oh, boo. Nothing jives there. No disrespect to Wes Horton, man, but come on, what is that? What is that, man? But this is my idea. Now I'll say, well, Q, come on, man, you bashing these guys? I ain't really bashing them. I'm just kind of throwing my little spiel at them, but that was the problem to me as far as the defensive end concerned. Let me introduce some ideas, and you guys tell me what you think about it. Junior Galette is available. Junior Galette is available. Oh man, hey, listen. They got this kid on the team. His name is Carl Granderson. I didn't forget Carl Granderson. I was saving him last because Carl Granderson is having issues right now, some rape stuff going on and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not going to say Junior Galette because Junior Gillette was just whipping women on the beach with a belt. I mean, he was just beating chicks' butts with a belt. This other kid is accused of something else. Who knows what happened with him? I don't know what's going to happen with Granderson, but he has talent. He didn't get drafted, but the guy has talent. He has speed, he has size. I just don't know if you can count on him. What if whatever happens in Wyoming comes back to bite him in the butt, and he ultimately gets kicked out of the league? But right, I agree with you, Crass. Crass says in a couple of years he could be the dude if he ain't in prison, or if we ain't got the League of Women, giving us problems for signing him to a contract. So I don't know, but still in all, he ain't gonna make much of an impact this year, is what I'm saying. We want this year because we don't know what Drew is beyond this year. So this year is what we're looking for. We want proven talent. So this is my idea, fam. This is my idea, and y'all tell me what y'all think about it. All right, number one. Okay, we got a guy. His name is Nick Morgan. I mean, not Nick Morgan. I'm mixing them up. Derek Morgan from Tennessee. Now, I know a lot of y'all familiar with Derek Morgan because he was a guy, man, if you think about him. I mean, he was hurt last year, didn't play too much. But if you think about what Nick Morgan did in terms of his sacks, the guy got 44 and a half sacks. That's pretty damn good, man. He's what is he, about 30 years old, so he's not really that old. 6'4", 261, considered an outside linebacker at this stage of his career. I would say that Morgan would be best served as a pass rusher. Now, he's played pass rusher a lot. A lot of teams decided they can move him to drop back in coverage, but he's a guy that's athletic enough to do it. Now, last year, he played in 13 games, started 12 of them. He had an off season with just a half a sack last year off season. But I got to chump it up to it being a bad season for him, because prior to that, he had a season of 7.5, 9 sacks. Then, it dropped to 4.5. So what I'm saying is, this guy's been in the league, since 2010, and he has 44 and a half sacks. 44 and a half sacks. I'm thinking in my mom's like, man, that's pretty good numbers for a guy. If you think about it, 44 and a half sacks. You ain't looking for Reggie White on the other side. And basically what you're doing is you're looking for just a veteran pass rusher that'll spell Davenport, come in as the third guy rushing, or perhaps if Davenport gets nicked up, you'll have a guy that can still provide that rush. And anyway, I've mentioned in previous shows that he will come cheap, Crass. That's what I'm thinking, man. And I was like, I don't know why that he is why he never come, but I'm thinking about it, man. Nobody's not really interested in him, and I'm pretty sure when training camp, big camp starts to roll around, you're gonna hear people calling for Derek Morgan, because he's healthy right now, and 44 and a half sacks is not bad to come by. And I think he will be an addition to the Saints defensive line that could really help him. I'm talking about this could really be a solid move, because I think the Saints believe with Dennis Allen's that, I won't come at you in waves. I want pass rushers in waves. You see what I'm saying? Cam Jordan and, Davenport coming at you. And then when they get tired, I'm going to send, another group of pass rushers in waves. Just because Cam and Davenport's not on the field don't mean that the pass rush won't stop, although it's going to take a significant reduction. This is what I'm talking about. Derek Morgan, y'all keep an eye on him, because I've seen several reports indicating that other teams were interested in him. I think Dan Morgan would be an interesting pickup right there. Another thing I want to talk about is another pass rush I want to mention is the guy who used to play for Green Bay. Matter of fact, he played all of his years with Green Bay, and I guess you could consider more of a outside linebacker than you would consider him a pass rusher. But not a defensive end. But you could play him at pass rusher at the defensive end, because he's played at the defensive end position as well as the out linebacker position. Nick Perry, Green Bay Packer, man, he's just been there since 2012. 7-year veteran, 29 years of age. He has 32 and a half sacks. Now, last year he had an off year with 1.5 sack in 9 games. He played 9 games, started 9 games, got hurt. Just a sack and a half. Last year, prior to that, in 2017, the guy had 7 sacks And then in 2016, the guy had 11 sacks. So what it's showing you is that the man has the ability to get to the pass rusher. He's only 29 years of age, and he has 32 sacks in 7 years. That's not bad. That's pretty damn good if you think about it. And I'm not saying him to be your primary pass rusher. Again, this is just a guy that'll be your third pass rusher behind Davenport. And if Davenport gets nicked up like he did the previous year, you would have Nick Perry or Derek Morgan to address the need. Now, I hear Crass saying, "What about Andrew Branch?" That's not a bad pick because he's a guy that can get after them too. And he's more of I would say tweener too, because he could play the defensive tackle and interior lineman. He can do a little bit both. That's not a bad call, being that he comes out from Miami, and our assistant, the player personnel director, Jeff Ireland's from out that way, and he's familiar with Alan Branch. So I mean, it's possible. And the guys that I just mentioned, man, these guys will come at a premium. They won't come at a premium, excuse me. They're going to come at a pretty reasonable price because they're not coming in as starters, and they recognize as such. So they're willing to take a reduction rate in the price to come aboard. And I'm pretty sure we can be able to get one of these really good deals. Old Dirty Bastard says Granderson trial is in July. We will find out then. The Saints said they're confident he can get off. You know what? I'm gonna tell you what, ODB. I'm going to tell you what, you might be right on that. You could be right on that because the Saints, they're going to do their research to find out whether or not this guy, they won't waste their time with somebody they think is guilty. So you might have something there, man. He might have something there. Audit the Fed. What's happening, my man? He says, wait until training camp cuts too late. You know what, man? I tell you what. We got some good talent on this team. I just want to see a more veteran mix. It's like I said, we're a team on the cusp. We got some young, good talent, but I just think in certain spots we need veterans to hedge our bets. And I'm going to tell you why I feel that way. And y'all going to agree with me in a minute. Y'all probably already know where I'm going with this one. Remember in the NFC Championship game, and I know I don't want to take y'all back to that. You know what I'm saying? But remember in the NFC Championship game when Drew Brees stepped back, threw the pass and the touchdown to backup tight end, undrafted backup tight end, Garrett Griffin. And what did Garrett Griffin do? Could y'all tell me what he did? Hey, Audit, tell me what he did. Crass, Jason, y'all tell me what the man did. What'd he do? When Drew Brees threw the ball to backup tight end Dan Arnold, what did he do? That's right. He dropped the damn ball. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. And you know what? That's right. Artist said drop. Now, if you go back and listen to the show, I remember when I said that about him because I was more big on Garrett Griffin, not because Garrett Griffin listens to the show. I like Garrett Griffin because the guy is a good player to me. But in my mindset, I was like, Dan Arnold, man, I don't know. He's sketchy. But if that was Jared Cook, if that was Ben Watson, if that was, I would even take the guy from Detroit that dropped everything. He would have caught that damn ball. That's right. That's right, Crass. If it was Alizé Mack, would Alizé Mack have dropped that? And I'm saying, had he had caught the ball, now let's put aside the guy passed interference and Tommy Lee. Let's put that aside. Let's for just for the sake of argument, if he had caught the ball in the end zone for the touchdown, will we be talking about? Will we be celebrating right here? You think we would have went to the Super Bowl and all that other stuff wouldn't have mattered? So that's why I was kind of on Dan Arnold for doing that. And I really feel like, we needed when we was going into that game, when Ben got hurt, I was like, man, we need somebody else back there. We need a veteran back there that, not saying veterans can't drop the ball, but it's, it's more of a chance. This guy dropped the freaking ball in the NFC Championship game, man. Come on. You don't drop touchdown passes in the NFC Championship game. Okay, you could drop a first down pass, even a second down pass. Early in the game, perhaps a third down pass. But you do not and should not and will not drop a touchdown pass in an NFC championship game. Just saying, man. But anyway, that's my take on the defensive end guys. Now let's switch and go to the wide receiver position for a spell, y'all, because I think that's a position of need. And I know a lot of people was talking about the cornerback position as well. And they looked at it. We covered it in the previous podcast about the guys that they were looking at, Sensenba and the other guys. And nothing have come up yet. But to be quite honest with you, let's look at the wide receiver position, because I think that's a position that's going to come back to us sooner or later. Because, behind Mike Thomas, this is what your people looking like. This is what the wide receiver position looking like for the Saints. We got Ted Ginn Jr., who is coming off an injury, and he's saying he's good to go, ready to go, and all that kind of stuff. But seriously, I don't know if we could see Ted Ginn for the duration of the season, even into the playoffs. He did well when he was there, but we need some more help behind Ted again. And of course, we have guys like Cameron Meredith. Do I need to, come on, Cameron Meredith? Man, I was so geeked when the Saints signed that kid from Chicago. You know what? But Chicago was like, you know what? They wouldn't have let that guy go. I mean, the size, and he's pretty crafty. You gonna let that guy go? And now we know why they let him go. We can't seem to get this guy on the field. We can't get him on the field. So I can't really comment on Cameron Meredith. I mean, his measurables, the guy's big. He can, I guess he can catch. I don't know, man. He's an enigma to me. That's what a big question mark with a helmet on. That's what Cameron Meredith is to me, And if anybody out there, Cameron Meredith fans, you can't justify to me Cameron Meredith stepping up and doing nothing this year, because I don't even think he'll be able to stay on the field. I mean, and this guy been off for a while. I mean, they got guys out there. Look at P-Rob. P-Rob had a broken ankle. He came back from a broken ankle. A broken ankle. And the man ready to play again. And he got Cameron Meredith. I know he had surgery, but good grief. Come on. I don't know, man. I'm gonna just leave it alone. But let me just put it to you, Cameron Meredith. I'm not really feeling Cameron Meredith right now. He gonna have to show me something, mister. Like the Mardi Gras. You got to show me something, because I don't think Cameron Meredith, man. He got to make it. He got to beat the injury man before he talk about getting on the field producing. And at the OTAs, Cameron Meredith. I've seen footage. I was looking at Cameron Meredith on the side with his trainer on the sideline. He didn't even get on the field. He didn't even run around. If he was on the sideline where everybody was working. So I don't know about Cameron Meredith, man. I don't know. Now, outside of him, you got a bunch of unproven guys, man. And I'm talking about Mr. Third round pick, Traquan Smith. And I just who asked the question a moment ago about Traquan Smith? I think it was Crass. Crass talked about, I'm not certain, but it's I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think that looking at Traquan Smith, man, like y'all remember in the podcast we talked about that? We talked about how Traquan Smith, man, was Traquan Smith, like the move, everything was bigger than him. You know what I'm saying? And I made a comparison between him and Keith Kirkwood, and I said Keith Kirkwood seems like he is the third round pick, because it just seemed like it to me that he's ready for the moment more so than the guy that was drafted in the third round that was doing all this stuff at Central Florida. Keith Kirkwood. And Kirkwood came in, he balled, he did his thing, and trust and believe, if he had more snaps and more minutes to play, he would have had a better outing than him, because he was fluid. Everything came smoother with Keith Kirkwood than it did with Traquan Smith. Traquan looked stiff. He looked scared many times. He was dropping passes. Now, he had an outstanding game against, Washington, when he just cut it up, but he couldn't. I was like, man, let me see if he can keep replicating that success. That's a really big confidence game to have a big game like this. Let me see if Traquan Smith could keep pushing, keep doing it, keep moving. He didn't do it. couldn't reproduce it. Now that was like, you know what? And Drew was looking for him. Drew was looking for Traquan Smith. He dropped passes many times. He looked, like I said, the tape don't lie, and I know what I'm looking at. The man looks scared and stiff to me. Now, maybe in the second year he'll step it up, but as far as I'm concerned, man, Traquan Smith, he ain't on the level of where Meredith is, but he got a lot to prove, man. And he talking the talk, but I don't know, man. It's something got to click, a light got to go on for him to move forward and keep it going. Now, what's going on over here? What you asking, fam? It says Cyril Grayson from Sean S. What's up, Sean? He said Cyril Grayson Jr. has been turning heads in good praise. Yeah, I heard about Cyril Grayson, man. But I don't know, man. We still, how you got some of these guys that come in the league and they super fast, but they just never materialize into nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like they got all this speed in the world, this track field speed, but it never seems to turn into anything. They got the speed, but they just don't have the fundamentals that come with it. Because it's not all about straight line speed and shifting this. You got to have fundamentals to be able to run the right routes, know how to break it down and then turn it up, how to look them off, and and all the little shiftiness that make it so. We talked about this before a while ago about what makes a great wide receiver versus just somebody that's not. Great wide receivers, man, think about it. They don't look for the ball until the last minute. They don't stare the ball down. They run their routes. They know where to be, and then they turn at the last moment, and the ball is there. They know, because they don't give the cornerback an inkling of time to say, okay, I'm gonna read his eyes, and then when he turns, I'll turn. And they don't do that. Some of the best in the DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Thomas, all these guys, they turn at the last moment. They don't give the cornerback no kind of help to let them know. Some of the other wide receivers, they stare the damn ball down. They let the cornerback know anyway. But if you can't crawl it, you can see the man looking back for 5 seconds and he still don't turn around and still get toasted. But anyway, Lil Jordan artist said, what about Lil Jordan? We're going to see about Lil Jordan, man. You know what? I'm kind of working down a list. Crash, you're right. Kirkwood's hungry. He is hungry. He's hungrier than Traquan. I'm going to just be honest with you on that. I like Kirkwood. I remember the footage on him when he was in camp early on. Kirkwood ready to ball, man. And they talking about Traquan Smith. I told you, Traquan Smith is watching over his shoulder for Keith Kirkwood, because Kirkwood has the size. He's not as fast as Traquan Smith, but he is shifty. He runs better routes. And I think that he's more comfortable with this system than Traquan is, unless Traquan done drunk some IQ juice or the light bulb went on somewhere. But Kirkwood, man, you right on Kirkwood. I don't know. Crash, you crazy, man. Anyway, Kevin, man, come on, man. Apple suspect, bro. You know what, bro? You know what? The thing on Apple, man, come on, bro. You got to give him some credit, man. The man he's a half a season, bro. The man got traded half the season. I mean, dude, listen. Anybody looks bad next to Lattimore, brother. You understand what I'm saying? They not throwing on that side. They gonna throw on your side. Everybody, I'm just saying. I think Eli Apple has the speed, he has the size, he has the intelligence. I just think that, and plus this is a contract year. I just think that you're going to see him ball better than he's done at any level of his professional career with the Saints, because he got a lot to prove. Like I said, they turned down that option that was going to pay him $14 million, which is really smart, by the way. But he does understand this is a contract year, so he's going to have to bring it. And I'm thinking that in the full camp with the Saints, in a full submersion in the cornerbacks room, learning what he needs to do, I think you're really going to see some fruit from him. So Kevin, give Kevin says LOL. Give him some love, Kev. Give him some love. Give him a little time, bro. Give him a little time. Remember, it's just a half a season. He's just a half a season. Let's see what he do in a full year with a contract year with being the other. It's not easy being the guy on the other side of Lattimore, because you're going to get it. You're going to get it. I'm just going to be honest with you. And like I said, Lattimore, they're going to throw to that side. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. What's up, Larry? Larry said, I think Dez is still a good fit and would be great as a Saint. I said that. You know what, Larry? I said that, man. I said he still got a lot of love. He he got unfinished business with New Orleans. You can't cut out and go somewhere. You got unfinished business here in New Orleans, man. This is the perfect system. He knew what he was doing when he left Dallas to come to New Orleans. That was just a freak injury. But he got unfinished business with the Saints. I don't think the Saints, I just really do think that the Saints would not let a guy as talented as Dez Bryant walk out the door unless they feel like that he can't contribute in the way that they need him to contribute. You see what I'm saying? And the Dez Bryant they brought aboard last year, I don't know if they think that he could emulate that guy, because you don't let a guy like Dez Bryant walk out the door. Because I don't know, Dez ain't asking about a lot of money, because to be honest with you, Dez can't really command a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he facing with that injury and coming back from the injury. So I still say Dez Bryant really could help the Saints and will be an upgrade over anybody behind. I won't say he's better than Ted Ginn Jr., even though statistically over his career, I don't know. Ted Ginn might surprise you statistically, but he dropped a lot of passes early on until he learned how to catch, because he was one of those track guys. But Dez Bryant, man, could really help the Saints, but I don't know if they feel confident about him being healthy enough to come to this team. That's the only thing about the whole Dez Bryant situation that's kind of crazy to me. I don't know. Chauncey Gardner in the slot. Yeah, you know what? Man, Crash, you hitting on it tonight, bro. I think that's right. You know, a lot of people not looking at the cornerback position, and the Saints bringing these guys in. They ain't signed nobody yet. But we are thinking about the fact that they using, you know, Chauncey Gardner Johnson as a third safety in that position, but that's basically a cornerback. We looking at the free safety look, but that's a nickel back, man. Let's just be honest, man. For true football people that know what they're looking at, that's just that's they calling it a safety and a free safety, but it's basically a nickel. It's a safety that's playing the cornerback position. And that's basically what Chauncey Gardner Johnson is. He's a safety with cornerback skills and speed. And he's a guy that you could see in that slot, in the third position slot, which I don't know, but he's still a rookie. It goes to the question. He's still a rookie, you know, and most people look at it as rookies are more of a minus than a plus when it comes down to the playoff environment, because you will want a veteran in that position. But they got a lot of guys out there. I just don't know if the Saints interested in addressing it like that. But, you know, the other thing is, what up, DJ? What's up? Welcome, bro. Welcome to the show, DJ. What's good, baby? This is another thing, man, I wanted to kind of bring to y'all. This is you know, I laid it out. Let me go through the rest of them, because I want to jump ahead, because you did mention Cyril Grayson, and I wanted to address that. Wide receiver position behind Cyril Grayson. The Cyril Grayson at the bottom of the depth chart as far as the wide receivers go. But, I mean, we still looking at Keith Kirkwood. We talked about Keith Kirkwood. And then there are other undrafted guys. Like we got LaJordan Humphreys, which I think LaJordan Humphreys is a fantastic talent. He don't have the speed, but I'm telling you guys, if they had a watch list, and maybe we'll do a show where we'll put some of the guys that you need to watch on. Because if there was a watch list, LaJordan Humphrey is definitely worthy of attention if you're the Saints, because you're looking at what he did with Texas in a good system. And the guy has the talent. He fell out of the draft for whatever reason, because they were talking about his speed. Listen, they had guys in the draft that got drafted that wasn't that fast. So not, you know, I don't know who these people saying that crap, the way his speed is the reason why he fell out the draft. People just didn't draft the goddamn man. Stuff like that happens, man. You know, if it wasn't for the Saints drafting Marcus Colston, he would have fell out the draft and would have been an undrafted Jew somewhere. We get him all the time. How do you explain Lance Moore? Lance Moore had decent speed when he came out of school, by the way. He kind of late on in his career, he suffered injuries and kind of lost a lot of speed, but he ain't losing hands. But Lance Moore was a guy that had good speed. And there's some guys like these fall out of the cracks, and you have these silly guys, well, he lost, the scouts ain't do a good enough job of scouting this man. It happens all the time. It's just what it is. But LaJordan Humphreys is a guy on that watch list. He's on my watch list. LaJordan Humphreys, let it be known, fam, that what's up, John D? But he's on my watch list. Let's just say that much about him. And if anybody, one of these undrafted guys, is going to step up and make some noise, I think it probably will be LaJordan Humphrey. But then also you have Sammy Cobbs Jr. I know y'all guys familiar with him from Tampa Bay. A guy that has size 6'3"-ish. Not so much on the speed, but the Saints got this guy last year, picked him up, put him on the practice squad for some odd reason. They like him. Emmanuel Butler, is another undrafted guy Deontay Harris, which is one of the kick return, punt return guys we speak about, and then finally is Cyril Grayson. Now, maybe I don't know to say that some of these kick return punt return, because you're talking about Cyril Grayson, Deontay Harris, and we're gonna get into that when we talk about the special team stuff. But to be quite honest with you, I don't know if any one of those men, uh, maybe one of them perhaps, would actually make the team, in terms of the kick return, punt return game. I just don't want to see Alvin Kamara back there. I'm tired of seeing Alvin Kamara back there because if Alvin Kamara, God forbid, gets hurt, it changes the whole dynamic of the Saints offense, don't it? Because you don't have anybody you could put in to emulate what he does. And that was something that I was saying that the Saints should draft. I know you can't find another Alvin Kamara, but perhaps you could find a guy that can kind of do similar things to what Alvin Kamara do, so that your whole offense don't do a 180 or 360 if something happens to Alvin Kamara. You know, then who's behind him? You got Latavius Murray, and I'm not gonna sleep on Latavius Murray. Listen, I was a Mark Ingram guy, but that was on them that they couldn't get the link together so they could make it. Ingram ain't even, he knows he's supposed to be a Saint for life. And them two sides had plenty of time to come together on something. And for whatever reason, they couldn't get it done. And basically, when you look at the contracts between Murray and Ingram, it was just $1 million freaking dollars to keep him here. Come on, man. But Latavius Murray is a guy that is 6'3", one of the biggest back. I think he's the biggest back in the league, not counting the guy from he might be about the same size as Derrick Henry is like 6'4", I think 6'3" or 6'4". The big guy used to running back used to play for Dallas. I mean, not for Dallas. He plays for Dallas now in their practice squad. He was the running back for Alabama a couple of years ago, and he was the guy that I wanted the Saints to draft. This guy was another big running back. Remind me of DeMarco Murray. Can't remember his name. If you guys remember him, let me know. I like Divine Ezigbo. I like him, Jason. I just don't, it's just, it'll be interesting to see how they go. But Latavius Murray, they gave him the big bucks, baby. They gave him the big buck, and he will bring. He's going to be the heavy hitter that the Saints bring in there in the red zone. And trust me, it's not a stretch to say this man won't have 8 touchdowns, maybe 10 touchdowns. You ain't gonna go as far as 10, but 8 touchdowns in the season. And you running them in there without a fullback. Give him a fullback. The guy falls forward and get you 4 yards. Latavius Murray, So I don't know, man. I think Latavius Murray, but it's a big difference between Latavius Murray and Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, you know what he brings. Latavius Murray, you know what he brings. If Alvin gets hurt, what do you do? What do you do? And of course, I know about Dwayne Washington. I know about Divine Ezigbo if he makes the squad. Of course, they signed this other guy that just picked up from Baltimore, to a 4-year contract, by the way, fam. 4 years for the guy that they picked up out of Baltimore, Buck Allen. So I don't know, man. But none of those guys could do what Alvin could do, and I'm saying I know very few could, but maybe we could have found somebody around there that could have kind of gave us just a little bit of what he do. So the offense wouldn't change that much. We could still put this guy in there and he do that kind of stuff. But that's the thing that kind of, that it's 3 or 4 guys you can't lose if you want to make the Super Bowl. About 3 or 4 of them that can't lose. Of course, it's Drew, of course, it's Cam, and then you get Mike Thomas, and then of course it's Alvin Kamara. The rest of them, perhaps, maybe at one of our offensive linemen, you can move them around, but 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys, if you want a Super Bowl run, you cannot lose. I'm sorry. And if something happened to him, God forbid, the offense switches and looks different.